what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. In this video, I want to go a little bit more in depth on yesterday's Legion Sports Festival and also the Tsunami Nutrition Pro Cup. Now that we've got the HD pictures, we've got the scorecards, we've got a little bit more clarity and understanding why things went the way they went. So first, I want to talk about the Legion Sports Festival, specifically Tonio Burton. This guy was insanely impressive. These are much better pictures here than what we had right after the show. So these are from NPC News Online. You can see his tan looks a little bit better here. I will admit that in the other updates, his tan didn't look that great, but I think it also had a lot to do with the exposure of the camera that was taking the pictures. So Tonio Burton brought, I think, the best conditioning of the show. Crazy round, crazy full. I mean, look at this guy's delts. Look at his delts and traps. He was popping everywhere, striations in the chest, super well separated legs, especially compared to the runner-up, Justin Rodriguez. And I think overall Justin was just off. His body looks tired, he looks flat, and he just didn't nail the conditioning here. And I think Tonio nailed it more than he ever has. This is the best I've ever seen him look. And I want to point out again how impressive I think it is that he looked this round and this full next to these guys. I mean, this is Jamie Jahal, a.k.a. the Giant, a 300-plus pounder, 6'5", a whole head and shoulders taller than him. And Tonio Burton came over from the 212 category, and he's looking like this next to open guys and winning an open show against these kind of guys. And Justin Rodriguez, I think, competes in like the mid-260s. He's a pretty big guy. And I think the difference that you can see between them in these pictures is really the detail. I mean, look at the detail in Tonio's chest versus the detail in Justin's. The detail in Tonio's quads versus the detail in Justin's. Just way deeper separation. The midsection looks better, but I think there's other pictures that better exemplify that. And I will admit, it was closer between Tonio and Justin at prejudging than it was at final. So Tonio at prejudging had a score of 4, and Justin had a score of 3. And obviously in bodybuilding, the lower score wins. So it was close. It was a 1-point decision at prejudging, but at finals, it was a 2-point decision, or I should say a 3-point decision. So Justin had a score of 6 at finals, and then Tonio had a score of 3. So what that means is the judges viewed Tonio as getting better and Justin as getting worse. And Tonio ended up winning with a score of 7, and Justin wound up with a score of 11, getting himself second place. And I think here, this picture of the abs and thighs, you can see again, Justin's midsection, it became problematic for him here, and I think it also became problematic for him at the Arnold Classic at the finals. That's where we saw him kind of lose control. The midsection got blurry, and it looked a little bit blown out, and that's kind of how it looked at this Legion show, whereas Tonio, very tight midsection, very deep separated abs, very good separation in the quads. I just think he overall beat Justin on detail. Side tricep, same thing. You can kind of see what I'm talking about, how Justin kind of looks flat. He kind of looks washed out, not popping as much as Tonio. With Tonio, you can see like every single ab in the side profile. You can see his triceps popping, his deltas popping. And with Justin, you really just don't see that. He just kind of looks like he's fading and flattening out. I got to say, Jamie Jahal looks really good here. I think the main thing that's probably holding him back is the imbalance from the legs to the upper body, because his upper body looks really good, and he wound up in 5th, which is another interesting thing about the scorecards that I want to address later on. The back pose, again, look at the traps on Tonio Burton. His traps just pop really well. He's really just got a very proportional, balanced physique. I think that's the best way to describe it. Beautiful physique from Tonio Burton. And again, I'm just extremely impressed. So these are much better pictures than yesterday. Back double bicep, same thing. Side chest, kind of the same as the side tricep. You can see Tonio round, full, pecs, delts, traps, arms, everything just crazy full with that crazy conditioning. Justin just kind of looks flat through the chest, kind of flat through the arms. And again, a.k.a. the Giant, Jamie Jahal, looks pretty damn good in the upper body, but I think it's the same thing with the legs. It just doesn't match. Let's see. I want to go to there we go. The front lat spread. This to me was a perfect shot of Tonio Burton. He is so proportional, so balanced, so symmetrical from left to right. He has a bodybuilder's bodybuilding physique. He looks really impressive here. And I think the main thing that stood out to me was how Justin's chest kind of flattens out in this pose. Tonio still looks round and full the way he's hitting it. Justin's midsection, this is what I'm talking about. You can't really see each individual ab that well. It's just kind of blurry. Tonio, great separation in the abs, even in this pose. Great separation in the legs. Just every pose, he was tight, he was hard, he was full. Just a very, I think, a dominant victory. And I was surprised that it was as close as it was at prejudging, considering how good he looked. Front double bicep, one of my favorite poses of Justin's, actually. And he doesn't look that great next to Tonio. It's the same as the front lat spread. The midsection thing, the separation in the legs, Tonio just very, very complete. He didn't really leave the door open at all. So here's the scorecards. There you can see Tonio's score of 7 and Justin's score of 11. Another thing that interested me, though, was Stanimal had 12 points at prejudging and 12 points at finals, which means at both prejudging and finals, the judges had him in 4th, but he was not in that top 4 call-out. The top 4 call-out at prejudging was Tonio, Justin Rodriguez, Rashid Oldiker, and you also had AKA the Giant in there, Jamie Jahal. So they brought him back out. They brought Stan back out for another call-out with Jamie, and 3rd place is Rashid. But they didn't have him in that first call-out, which maybe cost him a higher placing. I think that Stanimal could have been in 3rd based on his conditioning had he been compared a little bit more with Rashid. I think he was a lot tighter than Rashid, but Rashid had a lot more mass. Stanimal looked really good here, but I was confused why, if they had him in 4th at prejudging and finals, they didn't bring him out in that first call-out. I thought that was interesting, and Jamie Jahal wound up in 5th place there. So let's get over to the Tsunami Nutrition Pro Cup. And by the way, Tonio Burton qualified for the Olympia with that win, obviously. So you've got James Hollingshead. You've got Alfred Shiriak in the green trunks, Mark Hector in the red, and Enrico Hoffman in the silver trunks. So James Hollingshead won this show, qualified for the Olympia. And a lot of people really like this 2nd place guy, Alfred Shiriak in the green trunks. He had a really, really complete upper body. But I think if you look at these side poses, I'm going to go back to the side tricep here. You can see why James won. Look at the thickness of his leg from the side. You can see the hamstrings just hanging off the quad. The quads are a lot thicker from the side. Calves look better in the side profile. Crazy thick delts, crazy thick triceps compared to the runner-up there. And just overall, really solid, massive bodybuilder. Now, excuse me, another guy that really impressed me was this Enrico Hoffman. His conditioning was crazy. Kind of reminded me of a Branch Warren. You can see the difference in triceps, though. You can see he doesn't have as much tricep as James does. But look at his delts. Look at the separation and how deep his abs are. This guy was just a ball of muscle. I mean, look at his legs. The guy looked pretty good, but I think it was the legs from the front that really let him down. But he was, I think, by far one of the most conditioned guys, if not the most conditioned guy. He just needs more width in that upper body, especially the back shots. And James, I think, very dominant in these back shots. Crazy wide back, crazy thick, crazy dense. You see him on Instagram deadlifting like 800 pounds for reps. But the 2nd place guy, Alfred Shiriak, I think he looks really good here. I think the most controversial thing was not James winning. I think the most controversial thing was Hoffman here not taking 3rd place. Mark Hector wound up in 3rd. Al wound up in 2nd, and Enrico wound up in 4th place. And I thought Enrico should have beaten Mark because I thought Mark was off, considerably off, compared to how he looked at the Arnold Classic, and the conditioning of Enrico was just insane. I mean, look at the hamstrings, look at the glutes. I guess runner-up had striated glutes too, but I think Enrico was the most conditioned from the back. Front double bicep. This is kind of not a super strong pose for James. I think his biceps could be a little bit more peaked. His abs could be a little bit deeper and more separated. I mean, look at Enrico in this pose compared to James. Look at Enrico compared to Mark. I know it's very apples and oranges because Mark has this crazy structure, crazy V-taper, but Enrico just looks like a freak here. Deep separated abs, crazy conditioning. But again, I think it was the legs that let him down. Look at the size difference between James and Enrico. And the same thing, which I think is why James ended up winning here. Look at the size difference between James's quads and the runner-up's quads. I mean, it's night and day difference. I think James just, he's just a freak, man. James crazy dominant in these back poses, a lot of detail in his back. Crazy, just the size of his legs is nuts. But Enrico, again, looks really conditioned here. Let's keep running through. Side chest. I got to say, Alfred doesn't look bad in this side shot. He's got a lot more glute hamstring tie-in than James seems to have. But I think overall, James outmassed him. You could make the argument that maybe Alfred out-conditioned him. He does look a little bit tighter in some of these photos. I don't know. And then again, you got this freak over here, Enrico Hoffman. Guy really impressed me. I think this is a good example again. I think it was the legs that let him down. Look at his legs versus James, and James's legs versus everybody else. Very dominant performance for James, I think. This guy, doesn't he look like Branch Warren, except for the crazy Branch Warren quads? But yeah, that was the results of the Tsunami Pro. Don't think there was anything super special or controversial here. I think James deserved the win. Look at the mass in his legs in this shot. I mean, it's pretty nutty how he looked. Let me look at the scorecards here and see if there's anything worth noting. Let's go back a little bit. There it is. Okay. So James ended up winning with a perfect score. Nobody had him in second at prejudging. Nobody had him in second at finals. Clean sweep for James. It looks like the runner-up was in second at prejudging and finals. Actually, all these scores, it looks like there's not much debate. Every single placing, it looks like the judges completely agreed for both prejudging and finals on everybody. So I was kind of surprised to see that, especially with third and fourth place between Mark and Enrico. I thought it would be closer. I thought there would be like a little bit of back and forth, but it looks like it was not. Enrico had 12 at prejudging, 12 at finals. That means every judge had him in fourth at both. So nothing super exciting about these scorecards. Not really a whole lot to talk about, but that is kind of the wrap-up of the Tsunami Cup Pro over in Italy, and also the wrap-up of the Legion Sports Festival. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you did in fact enjoy it, and you will be seeing James Hollingshead, Antonio Burton on the Olympia stage in 2022. As always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.
Dancing in the good light, everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Dancing in the good light, everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody's dancing in the good light. Everybody's dancing